Hi, this is Clint. So today I'm going to talk about different ways to book your big African safari adventure. I'm also going to talk about the different price levels of various tour packages and what to expect. Now, as far as booking your African safaris, you can book through a travel agency, especially one that specializes in African safaris. And you might even find such travel agencies in your own country. I live in Canada, and I know for a fact that there are several travel agencies, even in the Toronto area, that do African safaris. Now, some benefits going through this route is, of course, if you live in the same country as the travel agency, you can do lots of communication in your same time zone. And you can probably assume that all the tour companies that they book in Africa have been vetted. They're proven. So it's going to be a great African safari tour for you. Also, you might feel more comfortable dealing with a domestic company for all the financial transactions. Now, the downside, of course, because the travel agency is the middle person between yourself and the actual tour company in Africa, you can bet there's going to be a price markup. So typically, if you book through a travel agency, expect higher prices. That's the price for dealing with convenience. The other route is to book directly with a tour company right in Africa. That's what I did. I booked with the tour company based in Tanzania. Now, communication is going to be a little bit harder because there are big time zone differences. You're dealing with perhaps an unknown company to you. So there's always that risk there. And more than likely, you might be dealing with bank transfers, wire transfers instead of credit card payments. That's what I had to do. However, the big bonus here is if you're dealing directly with a company in Africa, then you eliminate the middle person. So the pricing is going to be the best. And of course, there's always that risk in dealing with an unknown company on the other side of the world. So you have to do your research. Check for Google reviews, check for TripAdvisor reviews, maybe even reviews on YouTube. Now, in my case, I ended up booking directly with a company in Africa because I was comfortable going through the direct route. In the past, I had booked some scuba diving liveaboard trips directly with the companies abroad. I dealt with liveaboard companies in Malaysia, Galapagos, and Indonesia. The African safari that I took with this company called Safari by Leo was amazing. So I can vouch for them. If you're looking for a company, a direct company in Tanzania for your African safari adventure, and you want to make sure that they're a reputable company, then I would totally recommend Safari by Leo. Now, no matter which route that you go to, whether you want to go direct with a company in Africa or you prefer to deal with a travel agency in your own country, that's fine. But after you determine which route you want to go, then you have to decide which price point do you want to book, because there are different price points. We'll start with the high price point. This is the luxury price point. These are the equivalent of 5-star accommodations for your African safari. Now, on the bottom part, there's the low end or the budget route. These are not 5-star accommodations, but they're still comfortable. They are at campsites and you will be staying at camping tents. Now, the drawback of this type of accommodation is if you want to go to the washroom, you have to leave your tent and go to a shared facility. Now, here's the big thing in Africa. In campsites, there are no fences. So when the sun goes down at nighttime, there could be wild animals roaming around. And the general rule is that you're not allowed to walk around outside at night by yourself. So if you're in your tent and you have to go to the washroom at night, you actually have to contact either your tour guide or one of the campsite staffers to escort you back and forth from your tent to the washroom or to the dining area. That's the rules. Now, in my case, I don't need the high-end five-star treatment. I don't need luxury. Luxury, you're going to be paying about 5,000 US and up. And I didn't need that. Now, on the low end, you can probably do a week-long safari for $1,000 US or less. That's where the budget level is. But for me, I didn't want the hassle of having to leave my tent and then get somebody to escort me to the washroom overnight. So I chose the mid-level. The mid-level, you're still staying at campsites. Your room is probably still going to be some form of tent, but they're a lot bigger. Within these tents, you will have your own ensuite bathroom and shower. So it's like a hotel room with an ensuite bathroom, except the walls are tent. And I'm going to show you some of the examples that I stayed in, and these were surprisingly comfortable. Now, the mid-price, you're probably looking at 3,000 US per week. So it's not too bad, and I decided to go this route. Now, one thing to note, no matter which price point you end up booking with, you're going to see the same animals when you're out on game drives. Just because you paid for the high-end accommodations, for example, it doesn't mean you're going to see more animals or better animals. Everybody, no matter which price point they pay for, are going to see the same animals, and they're probably going to be in the same safari vehicles. Everybody's going to get just as dirty from all the road dust out there. So the differences among the price points is the comfort and the quality of the accommodations, not the safari animals themselves.